To order, and welcome everybody, and we'll go ahead and get started here with item number 1, resolution 25-658, personnel policies and procedures update.
So from your last board action, we made the changes that are appropriate for the holiday adjustment. We have to adopt it by resolution amending the personnel rules and regs. So that's what this is. I'll read into the change for y'all so I can, and it's under holidays, and the change language is, I'm gonna have to read the whole thing so it makes sense. The town shall recognize and observe all holidays officially designated by the federal government, including any future amendments, deletions, or additions to the federal holiday schedule, which shall be automatically incorporated herein, except the Juneteenth holiday, which shall be replaced with National Election Day, which is the Tuesday next after the first Monday in November of even numbered years. I pulled that straight from the statute of the federal. And then obviously I removed Juneteenth, and National Election Day now replaces it in the list. So that was the only change for the amendment.
Will we get a copy of that at the meeting time?
Yes. Yeah, it's all part of the packet for the
resolution. A holiday that's only occurring every 4 years?
No, every 2
years.
All even years, because you have a midterm and a presidential election. Basically, is how that works. So, right.
Any other discussion on that? The wastewater treatment plant phase 1B update. So I told you before in the last meeting that they came back with a thing that was almost $2 million over budget. The engineering firm went to TDEC with a request to up for an extension. We still don't know where that's at or whether it's been approved, but we're going forward as if it has been approved. The closing or the bid opening will be at 10 o'clock on September 19th here by JMT for the second bidding of this process to see if we can get better. I'm not holding great confidence that we're going to experience that. I'm hopeful that we can adjust the project within the budget dollars to be able to get at least some of those things done and the other ones to kick down the road a little ways. I'm working very closely with the engineering firm and our operators. We're so far down a road that I can't make an adjustment right now that won't put us further behind where we'll be outside of meeting any of the deadlines. So TDEC put some deadlines on it for getting project done and started and all those other things with the ARPA funded projects. Make a long story short, that is what this one is. We're also working on a state revolving fund project, and that's the solids dewatering process with the press and all those things. So we got two projects that are working simultaneously. The most important and pressing one right now is the ARPA funds. And September 19th, I'll know more when we open the bid, and I'll be either bringing you something with a contract or we'll be trying to figure out what we do next. So.
Are we still doing dump truck roads?
No, they just shifted from dump truck loads to we're getting roll-off dumpsters that are going to be taking it away. So.
I got a question. I know this contract just finished up. You wasn't really pleased with them, was you?
The construction side, no.
If
we'll go out to bid for another construction company when this is done. That's what this whole bid process is for these projects. The company that I wasn't happy with wasn't one of the bidders. We only had one bidder, and that bidder was out of Knoxville, and they were $1.9 million over budget. So we're hopeful that we get more bidders, because the engineer told me that 6 people came in and picked up packets. So I sent him back with homework to go call them, find out why they didn't bid. Was it because it was a short turnaround? Was it because the project exceeds their ability? You find out what it was. I need more information to be able to make good choices.
this is the problem with somebody else doing the RFP for us or the request for proposal, but that's what our contract calls for. In the future, I won't give that much control away to somebody else.
Yeah.
I'm not happy with how that whole thing came about. The timing wasn't good. I don't believe that he took into consideration, he being the engineer, the timing of what needed to happen when and how we cross the T's and dot the I's and get it done. So I am actively trying to become more involved, but I think in the beginning phases of that, this engineering firm kind of led the town down the path by the nose. And that's what I'll say. So I hope all that made sense.
So with that, we'll know after 9/19 as far as where our next steps forward are with that.
Correct. And you will see something on the agenda possibly for a contract, or I will be giving you another update with here's where we're at, this is what we're gonna do. We're scrapping this portion of that and we're gonna go with this. As long as TDEC approves, and it's not a modification of the project, it's a fact that we don't have the money to finish that project. So.
Any other discussion on that? We'll move on to item number 3, town manager annual performance review.
I have a partial summarization. I've gotten 5 of the 7 back, and I'll update these. These are a summary of each of the categories, the number of votes for the different 5 levels of performance. And like I said, I will update it with the additional. As you can see, it's highly favorable. There are no, at this point, does not meet expectations. There are 0 improvement needed. 71 were the meets expectations, exceeds expectations 200, and outstanding performance 105. That's just me trying to give you a feel for the flavor, for lack of a better word, of the evaluation at this point. I will, like you said, be updating it with an additional evaluation form that's been turned in, and I have everything ready for the discussion on the regular BMA meeting.
If I can add something, so I actually have a full spreadsheet, and I've asked for each one of your feedback, so I'm able to load it into the spreadsheet, and I can come up with what your collective opinion is, but I can also focus on what each one of you has as a area for improvement that will help me in adjusting and making sure that we're addressing those things. So I've asked the attorney to provide those to me. I've loaded it on my computer and I'm just waiting for the data. That way there'll be an actual evaluation form that shows you what it is instead of just these collective numbers. There'll be something that says this is where it falls, or this is what it looks like, was stronger in category 4 versus category 10, and those types of things. But there'll be substance there for you to look at. With the fact that everything meets to exceeds to outstanding, I'm gonna ask for some adjustments, and I'm gonna probably bring my contract back to you because there were several things that I didn't do when the new budget year started. We approved a 4% raise for our employees as a COLA in addition to a step. So that averages out to about 6.5% for each employee in the town. I took a 1.27 because of being slotted into the pay plan. So I took a 1.2%, and I'm gonna ask to be stepped to a 2.5% increase to the next step in the pay plan. I think that's it, other than the leave time and all those things to continue to address it. Not collecting as a brand new employee. I'm a 40-year municipal veteran, and time off is more important to me than pay. So that's the other part of this, and I told you all that when y'all hired me. So I say all that to say, that's where we're at. I'll share that with you in advance. If there's any question or concern, please get back with me and let me know. None of y'all came to me during the submission process for this, so If there's anything you'd like to talk to me about in the evaluation process, please feel free to reach out and come see me, or I'll come see you or whatever, and have that conversation.
Anybody have any other discussion on that? I mean, the only thing I'll say overall is I think just by these basic numbers, I think it's a collective that, the expectations of what we were expected were exceeded. So I
Thank you.
certainly think that, just from a bird's eye view here, that it's a very good evaluation. All right, so we'll move on then to item number 4, surplus of the fire department ladder truck. Mr. Fire Chief, if you'd like to speak on that, or?
Sure. That's just there'll be a resolution, requesting the surplus of the 1998 Pierce ladder truck that we've recently replaced. I'm also asking for permission from the board to list it, through a used fire apparatus brokering company. They seem to think that we can get a decent amount of money for it. They recommend listing it at $49,000. So the other option is to list it on Gov Deals. Most of the stuff on Gov Deals goes for $5,000 or $6,000. I mean, in that type of truck. So, if we could get, if we ask 49, we walk away with 30 or 35. I think that would be great. Now we do, where it's a brokering firm, at that price, we would have to pay them 10%, but even, at that, if we get 30 or 35, we're talking $3,000 or $3,500. We're still way over, what we would get on Gov Deals, so.
When we spoke in the past, 5 was the ballpark of what would bring off Gov Deals.
Yeah, I sent that company the specs, and this is what they do. That's all they do is deal used fire apparatus. I sent them the specs, everything that's wrong with it, which is a lot. And they still recommend listing it at 49, so.
What would
the town, just to put that in perspective of how things have changed, the town only paid $17,500 for it in 2017, so.
That's a pretty good deal. Go for it.
Well, it sounds like a good deal, but until I show you how much money was
The
spent
amount of money.
on it.
The amount of money and maintenance and upkeep.
Yeah, that part will quickly ruin your good deal, but,
Have we spent more on it than what we paid for it?
Yes.
oh, yeah, about 10 times over.
Yes.
10 times exaggeration.
Well, just certification.
8 times over.
Annual certification is pretty dang expensive.
Yeah.
So you probably paid purchase price for the life of the time we've
Just the
had it.
stuff that, I mean, when we wrote that grant, just the stuff that I could find, which, well, we won't get into that, but just the stuff that I could find, we had over 90,000 of documented maintenance.
But doesn't having that truck, does it lower our taxes or homeowner
Homeowners
insurance?
insurance.
That's a benefit there, I guess.
It counts, it lowers it's a large credit to your ISO rating, which in return lowers homeowners insurance premiums.
So just as maybe this might be getting just a little bit ahead of myself here, but if we were able to pull, say, 30,000 of back off that truck, I know that would route through the general funds, but can we, kind of earmark that for the tanker that we talked about, or something of equipment apparatus purchase?
Me and Mr. Stables, we had talked about putting that back into the fire department budget for some equipment to add to the new ladder truck. There's a few things we'd like to do.
Or to add it, okay, so.
Right.
The existing
There's a few
equipment.
things we'd like to do that are, they're expensive, they're not factored into this year's budget, so.
I mean, that's really, like you talked about, the maintenance over time with it, that's recouping some of those maintenance costs.
Correct.
So that's just more money that you would have.
Correct, and I can't guarantee that's gonna happen.
Sure, understand.
I think we give that a shot for, 4 months, 6 months, and then if it doesn't sell, then we'll go another route.
It's 6 times more than what we originally projected off of it, or thought we would get off of it off Gov Deals. So anything over 5, I feel like we're in the black on.
Absolutely.
So if and the more we get back off that, the more that's just funneling back into your equipment.
Right.
As long as we're using that money for more, for fire apparatus equipment, whatever that looks like. Because I know we kind of talked about the final piece that you need of hardware, but if that's getting reinvested there, I would give my blessing to the brokerage to go that route.
Okay.
That's only being more kind conservative with the taxpayer money by trying to get the most out of it.
Right, right. I mean, we could.
Well, it's reinvesting in the community
Right.
where it
Right.
came from.
And we can list it on Gov Deals and in 2 weeks it'll sell, it'll be gone, but we're not gonna have.
But we're not gonna get
any
dollars
money out
for
of
it.
Right.
So, and that still may be what happens, but, I think that's worth a shot.
It's worth a shot.
Absolutely.
We're
So
not
we'll-
harmed by it because we're not having to pay a fee to do that. It's just a
Right.
fee after the sale.
It's only if they find us a buyer. If if somebody, a local department wants to come straight to me and want to buy it, if they don't go through that company, then we don't pay that 10% fee. That's only if they find us a buyer.
So that, we'll take formal action at that on the meeting.
Yes.
Okay, sounds good. Does anybody have any other discussion on that?
I'll make a comment about something related to that truck.
Sure.
I have been approached by a couple of board members about the ladder truck being used to raise the flag. As you can see now, it's being done by the bucket truck. But we did use that ladder truck in the past to raise the flag on Main Street. So something we're looking into is having a permanent 50-foot or 100-foot American flag installed somewhere on Main Street to kind of
That's what
account
it's designed
for
to do.
Put it
that.
down here by the sign.
We're looking at that, or a little bit farther down on Main
Then you
Street.
take the remote control, put them right in the front office. You can raise or lower whenever you want to.
Yeah. We're looking at a couple of locations for it on Main Street, but hope to have that done pretty soon. Get that.
I like the idea of it being by City Hall too, because then I got observation of it. I can actually watch it and make sure nothing happens to it. Plus, it's not gonna get hit. More than likely. I haven't seen a car run through the fence here at City Hall yet. I did see him run into the pole up there.
Once you pass Hammond, the fence has been hit multiple times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd prefer to put it somewhere where it's kind of shielded and
I think right
back.
out here would be the ideal place.
What size flag is that hanging up right now?
I wanna say it's a 25-footer, 30-footer, something like
I
that.
can't remember.
It looks like it's about a 30-footer, is my 25
We
to
bought
30
two of
foot.
those, but that's been 5 years ago, so.
Can we if we get the flag post out there, can we get the Senator, Marcia, to get us a new flag from DC?
That would be a size probably for the.
Yeah, we're gonna probably have to buy our
We'll
own
have to buy our
flag,
own.
cause
We
that's
have
a huge
We have
flag.
another brand new one right now.
Okay. So what's this gonna cost?
We don't know yet.
What do you got? You got an idea, don't you?
Those flags are $4,000.
Really?
Yes.
Give or take, but that's a ballpark.
Well, think about the size of that flag and
Yeah.
elevation and the amount of whip. They build it so it doesn't shred immediately.
No, I understand. I was a little surprised.
What size is the one paddles used?
I think they're 50.
50.
I mean, you're probably talking at least 30,000 for that flagpole,
Easily.
Depending on height.
depending on
The
height,
higher up you
easily.
go, the more expensive
I
because
would-
it's
I would
engineering
think
and
50
anchoring.
foot would be plenty enough.
Say that one more
50
time?
foot Would be plenty enough to make that flag wave at 100 feet. I've got a 50 foot, I think it's 50 foot up in my extra lot, and that's a pretty good size flag.
But you'd wanna do a flag that size for a 50-footer, not a 50-foot flag. So you don't want something that hangs down far enough where people can grab on it, or it hits the ground, or it gets close enough to
That's
the
why
ground.
I think we should go 100 foot.
The concern
Get it up there.
is power lines. That's-
And out in front of City Hall is the only place where there's not a line,
Right.
cause it cuts in and cuts around, so that's what I was telling him
This,
today when we
this
talked
location here, and then there's a little island that comes out
by the
by
marathon.
the Marathon gas station closer to Eastman Credit Union. There's a large area for a pole there with no power lines. We've had that area looked at too. Then you could see it as you were looking down Main Street.
It also has to be going down the 4 lane too there. people can
The
see
hill
it.
may obstruct it here if you're
Yeah.
coming from Kingsville.
Would you be able to see it from the front to run the remote control?
Sure you
Remote
could,
control.
because 100 feet.
I can't tell you that, but here's the other part. You add remote control, you add cost.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm just cautioning you because,
I mean,
Well,
this
you're
is
gonna
gonna
have to have
quickly turn
somebody
into
go
a
up there and
$50,000,
raise the flag
$60,000
every day.
project.
correct,
Yes, sir.
What's the remote
Easily.
control do?
excuse me,
Raise and lower, but
the power raise and
Just,
lower.
just
That's
let's
what makes you for it.
perspective this. Let's perspective this. If with the 100-foot remote control of 60,000, that's a police cruiser.
Mhm.
Let's just, before we start this just giant ballpark price on this, just you know, I'm all for having the flag up, having a big flag, but at the price point we're looking at with this, we need to relatively put that into perspective of what we also could get out of it.
And we'll do the groundwork to figure out what seems to be the best. We'll go from stem to stern, big to small, and we'll make it
We could do city
for y'all to
flags
make a
off
decision.
off the top of City Hall, like the United Nations of the American flags, for much cheaper. I mean, it just,
I'm not mounting anything on the roof of this building.
well,
We had
The problem is, I don't know how intact that roof is.
that was a little sarcasm.
Well, we had
So-
we had
We'll
flags
let
on the
Sue
roof
go up there
before.
and check it out.
Yeah. Yeah, I have great reservation about stuff like that in a building I'm not comfortable with some of the stuff, so I just.
You could get a flag at 50 foot or 100 foot, one of the borough flags, they're pretty good size. And it would do the job up there, but there's a lot of people here in town, they want a big flag like that.
Mhm.
That's what they want.
And I'm good. I mean, that flag that we have is plenty big enough, is my opinion.
And it shows
They've been
off.
living with it for all this time.
And it shows off very well.
Yes, it does.
That's what's happening to that one. I mean, what's going on with the bucket truck? What's happening to the configuration we have right now? Is there anything?
It's
That-
still our go-to until we come up with a permanent plan.
Okay, I just want to make sure that that's not, that
It's not going away.
there's the bucket truck isn't going anywhere.
No.
Okay.
But the ladder truck as a flagpole was a bad idea. And because of the amount of money we have to put into it, it's a liability keeping it and trying to drive it and park it and all of those things. So I just
Well, when we
never been a big
started-
fan of a flagpole fire truck.
When we started putting that flag up on this, old Air Force truck, I helped Jason them over in the lot, it's been a few years ago, check all the cylinders and everything, make sure it's gonna hold. And that fire truck that you used to use, it don't hold. This one's holding, but the thing of it is, it's getting so old.
Yes.
But they could really make a nice flat bed truck out of that. down
And that's
there.
an expensive piece of equipment to keep as a flagpole.
I probably allowed.
So, and we're maintaining a truck that has met its useful life cycle for the town. So we're putting money into something that we could buy a flagpole and do the same thing. Put it up on a flagpole, we're not paying a recurring cost. And the other thing about vehicles is they're designed to be run. If we're only running it out for special events to run up a flag every 4 times a year or
Yeah,
5 times a year,
Car.
that wear and tear on the truck just sitting, it'll rot. And please correct me if I'm wrong.
What kind of liability are we having the trucks next to the 4 lane like that? Is there any kind of liability?
Just risk.
The answer is yes, but is it negligible? Yes. We're covered, we're in the swale,
Yeah.
nobody's expected to be driving in the swale, and if somebody were to go off the road, they're gonna get charged with failure to maintain a lane and some other things, so.
Are you trying to get somebody to do this locally?
We haven't got that far down the
Well, we're
road.
getting quotes from local companies to do it. Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
All right, so we move on then to item number 4 or 5, announcement of the fire department push-in ceremony for new ladder truck on September 26th at 2 p.m.
Yeah, so we'll host a short, 30-minute push-in ceremony that day, and I'd like to see everybody there if you're able.
That's Friday, right?
It is.
After our board meeting on
Friday
Thursday.
at 2 p.m. The last Friday of the month.
Anybody have any?
To my knowledge, the town's never done one of those, so I hope to get a good turnout.
Is there anything you need over there that you don't have?
Well, I mean, I
I mean, you got a new
That's an
truck,
open-ended
you got
question.
Be careful about asking those
Yeah.
questions.
a new brush truck, you got a new ladder truck. I'm just wondering, are we missing anything?
A tanker.
A tanker.
We need a tanker, and to the mayor's point, that 30,000 really wouldn't have got us down the road with the tanker cost,
I
so.
thought you said you was gonna buy the tanker.
That I'm gonna buy the tanker?
Yeah.
I was thinking we'll buy the tanker.
Yeah, put the paper in front of me and I'll sign it.
Well, I can have that paper ready.
I mean, but that's,
Be careful what you
that's
ask
true,
for.
that's true now, I mean, that's true. But no, I mean, but just for just a second, speak on the usefulness of what that would do for having that
So-
piece of equipment.
and I can pull a lot more data when we get closer to budget time, but, you know, the town has 86 fire hydrants. So you think about every residence in town, and there only being 86 fire hydrants. So 83 of those flow less than 1,000 gallons a minute, which is nothing. And 38 of those flow less than 500 gallons a minute, which is, in the state of Tennessee, is basically considered a flush hydrant. We can use them, but we can't hook them directly to the trucks.
They'll burn your pumps up and stuff. 'cause
Well,
you're
you
not
just,
getting
you
You can't
stand
keep
the
up
risk
with the
of,
flow need.
right, you stand the risk of contaminating the water system, which is a whole bigger problem.
You pull a vacuum as opposed to it flowing out.
Gotcha.
Correct. So, you know, and there's tons of neighborhoods that don't have any hydrants at all. Most of Westridge does not. Tanglewood, Sue's neighborhood, there's one in Independence, that's it. There's more that don't. You get into Valley Crest, all those hydrants are red top hydrants. Most of them, there's one that's not, but when I say red, that's 500 gallons a minute or less. So most of the ones in Valley Crest, which is our largest subdivision, they'll flow about 180 gallons a minute. So put that in perspective, one hand line that we use off the fire truck flows 150 gallons a minute. So, you know, we're using everything that hydrant can give us to flow one hand line, which is, you know, on any fire, we minimum have 2 hand lines on the ground.
And in that subdivision, how many hydrants could y'all use at one time?
One.
One.
They're all on the same main, there's a dead end
That's
main.
okay.
So that's the other problem. Most of the infrastructure is not loop fed, so it's not fed from 2 directions. It's fed from one direction, which means that we can use one. So, you know, if we have a fire in Valley Crest and we're not able to get enough water off those hydrants, we have to either come back to Main Street or go up to Kingsport, to the AutoZone up here is where Kingsport water ends, to get more water.
It won't be nothing like what happened in California, would it?
I mean, I can't, you know, anything can
So
happen.
as a former ISO inspector, I will tell you that, you know, we talked about ladder truck adding to our ISO capabilities and things like that. There's 3 dimensions of an ISO inspection. Fire department is 50 points of that 100-point schedule. Water system and communications. Communications is 10%. The rest is 30, and then there's fire prevention. So when you look at that, water is a huge part. You can have the greatest fire department in the world, but if your water system's not there, your score is gonna crash, because they do something called divergence, where if you're a 90% fire department and a 30% or 40% water department, the difference between those is subtracted from your score. So if you were a 70, which is a 3, you're gonna reduce by 25 points, so now you're down to a 50.
And
That's a problem.
That's where the ISO is kind of the direction of what I was going to get to with that, is that could have a real impact to the ISO ratings for some people in this area,
Correct.
which will have a direct financial impact on their insurance premiums and stuff like that.
Correct.
So it's where that, yes, we may be making in the future coming to make this investment in a tanker truck, but you're actually going to see return on that in other places of having better fire rating,
Right.
better insurance rates, things like that. So that's
We're
where,
basically able to double the amount of water that we put on scene immediately, with that one truck. And as far as, you know, your smaller fires, room and contents, 2 rooms and contents, you know, we have enough water on the trucks now to get a lot of those fires where we can almost, you know, take care of it if we had a little bit extra. So that's, you know, that's where that makes a huge difference.
How big a tanker truck you looking for? You
Just
looking for a
2,000
semi?
2,000 gallon.
Is that just, is that on a single
It'd be
axle?
2,000 is the largest you can get on a single axle. It would make it short, maneuverable, and it would give us the water.
With these little narrow roads, that's what you need, because
Right.
you
I don't
do a
need
dual
a-
axle.
I mean, I'd love to have a 4,000 gallon tandem axle, but if I can't get it where it needs to go, then.
is this, and then this is, if you tell me you can't answer this question, that's a good enough answer. Is this something that we might be talking about come this next budget or down the road?
I will ask for it this coming budget. Whether we get it or not is up to you all.
Okay.
What's
Is that
the
something
price
that
of it?
LPRF money can be used for?
Starting at about 300,000.
LPRF, the same grant we got the fire, the,
CDBG.
I'm sorry, that's
That's what confused me. I think so, yes.
if that's
And I
the,
would imagine, Now, whether we get awarded 2 times in a row is questionable,
But we could ask.
absolutely.
Do you have enough bays for all these trucks?
No, so that brings up another issue.
You just keep on going, don't you?
So,
When you asked him what he needed,
I'm
he said you got anything you need.
I'm working on some options to put our older pumper tanker 1,000-gallon truck in the Carter Valley area of town. We need the truck over there for practical capabilities. We have a lot of calls over that way. I have a lot of members that live over there that have to come all the way over here to get a truck. And then that all goes back to the ISO rating, our deployment analysis. It reduces response times greatly. All that will factor in. All those homes that are greater than 5 miles from the current station, which is, all the stuff on Big Oak, backside of, or Fox Ridge, backside of Brookwood, Sherbrooke, all those homes would be within 5 miles, and it would greatly lower their ISO
If
rating.
you're not within 5 miles and 1,000 feet of a hydrant, it's a 10.
Class 10.
They're class 10, which is the worst it can be for your insurance rating.
You talked about the fire station next to the, where they had the hunter forest and stuff at?
Yeah, so that's Carter Valley's Fire Department, Station 1, but it's in the town limits. I don't know that that's gonna be an option, but I'm exploring it, and there's a couple other options, but we'll have to, if we could just get a building to put a truck over there, that would satisfy that need, so.
Will everybody over be able to use it?
Our members.
Our members only?
Yeah, we're not gonna have another department driving our vehicles.
Yeah, we couldn't they would have to be members of our department, and they're here to our standards.
Our risk manager wouldn't be happy about that either, so
It'd be like a satellite department for us, wouldn't it?
Be a substation.
Yeah, satellite.
All right, well,
Where I was from, just to add, where I was from in North Carolina, we had several departments that had dual staff stations. Now, again, I don't know that that's gonna be an option, but we're looking into it.
And that would probably help them out a lot of ways too, wouldn't it? On some of their calls, that'd be.
Yeah, that's a topic, yes.
We can work down that road.
biggest-
when we
We're
get to
doing
that
that
place.
now, we're doing that now.
Yeah.
So.
The biggest thing too with that is that, our fire department really is doing some great work. Mitch, I think you're doing a wonderful job over
I
there.
appreciate it.
And
My car was spread out.
when you
it's
hear
all
the,
Right.
when you hear the feedback from across the area of, how talking about how good your fire department is from your peers type people, that's really, I think, speaks volumes.
Well, I appreciate that.
So I certainly commend the work you're doing, and I hope that everybody's able to make that push in and kind of show the support of the fire department a little bit. Anything else before we go?
Yep, Alderman Cross came to me yesterday about some traffic safety things that kind of piggybacks off what we talked about in previous meetings. Independence Avenue particularly. There's a intersection with Tranbarger. It's a curve right now. I think there's a yield, but
Coming off
there's a
Tranborder.
suggestion maybe to look at a 3-way stop.
Tranbarger's got a stop sign. Coming to town on Independence has a yield. Going from 11W down Independence is a right of way. So that's where they're getting their speed and getting on the wrong side of the road.
So look at a 3-way stop there, and also look at some of those solar powered speed signs that capture your speed and advise you to slow down.
Like what they have in front of BP in Churchill?
Yeah.
That kind of blink at you.
Yeah.
As-
Do we have one of those?
Some of them.
We have 2 of the trailers.
We got 2 trailers, but they're out of service.
Yeah,
Neither one of them work. The police chief told me that, so.
And there's really no good place for a trailer on Independence.
I've seen some of them are, some size blue lights comes up.
What would the 3-way stop need to do? I mean, that really wouldn't take any board action. That'd be just more Jason replacing the signs.
We're talking to Jason right now just to make sure that we don't have to get some other
Any
approvals.
approval?
Just like 11W stuff. I mean, we want to make sure we cross our T's and dot our I's so we're not adding traffic pattern issues for them.
You
So,
don't have to give the community no warning, like that.
well, my suggestion would be that we put stop signs up and we also put signs back further that say
New traffic.
stop sign ahead.
Yeah.
And, I think the police chief talked to you about one near where you live.
It's on
And-
Hellman's.
Yeah, but I'm not sure how that would work out, but because people come off the peak,
They're gonna have to
they
learn-
run that stop sign every
They're
time.
gonna have to learn to slow down. And you can do the
I
same
agree.
thing, put a sign back there that says stop ahead. But the thing of it is, there's a school bus comes out of that neighborhood, and it's either 53 feet, you might be able to correct me on that, 53 feet long or 63 feet long, and it has a problem getting around through there.
It's
And
53.
one of these days, I hope I don't see it, that somebody's gonna get crammed on that bus. And I think a three-way stop right there would work the finest.
We can get Jason to take a look at that too.
I did have a traffic study on that, it was done by Chief Jackson before he retired. I just gotta find it through all my rest of my junk.
We'll talk to Jason. I'm sure he probably has access to it because he's been here long enough to know. So he'll probably know something. But we'll get him to take a look at that along with Grant Barger and
Well, I know the police chief that did the study, he said it needs to be done, but he says, I don't care because I'm retiring. I said, you should have retired 25 years ago.
All right, well, on that, we'll go ahead and close the workshop.
all right.